All right, my friends, if you are just joining me live, you have clicked by Just Stamp with Anna Marie. We are on week 8 of the 12 weeks of Christmas. Today we're making a fun little decor project, which can be an ornament. It can be a gift tag. You can string them together and make a garland for the mantle or for the tree. I absolutely love this little Sweetest star. It's cookie cutter shaped. It's a bundle that creates this. Hello, Sandy. Thank you for joining. As I said, right now the punch is on back order. However, it's arriving by December 2nd or earlier. And Pam says adorable. Thank you, Pam. I'm going to be sharing with you how to create these little ornaments slash garland pieces, tags, whatever you want to call them. They are actually fairly easy to create and super fun. As I said, you can use it as a gift tag as well. So the star of the project, of course, is the Sweetest Star bundle. It's a punch bundle. This is the punch that right now is unorderable, expected December 2nd, so not too far off. And I must say, lately Stampin' Up! Has been having those back orders before their expected date, so that's super cool. The other bundle that I am using comes from the main catalog. It is the Round We Go bundle that has the coordinating dies. Now, the stamp set is fun. The dies are absolutely handy. You will want these dies. They make creating these what would you call this? All of a sudden I go blank on what you call this shape, the Round We Go shape. And it's fairly easy to make. You do need a cut and emboss machine. So let's get started. Here's what I need paper-wise. So I'm using the paper called, let's see, Take a Bow. I love this paper pack. Christmas colors, the beautiful green and red. And you get multiples of all the patterns. To me, this one looks like a candy cane, the candy cane stripe. So I love that red, and I love how it goes nicely with the cookie, the star cookie. So I've got 2 strips of that candy cane paper. They're 1 1/4 wide by 6 inches. I also, excuse me, I also have a scrap of crumb cake, and I have a scrap of real red. I have 2 die cuts. These were die cut from the Spotlight on Nature die cut set. And I've done it in white, which is what I used here. But then I thought it might be fun to try it with silver foil, so it looks more like the cookie tin. We'll see how it goes. Maybe you can express your opinion on what you think I should use. So, and there are options as well as we go along. So let's start. I need the real red. I'm creating circles here. There's a layering circle, and then there's a circle on the back. That's what I'm using the real red for. And let me grab my punch. I am using the 2 3/8 inch punch. So easy with the punches, right? They're a little bit noisy, but there we go. So that's done and out of the way. There are my circle punches. Then we are going to create the base here, the Round We Go base, using the candy cane paper. Let me put these out of the way so they don't get scrunched. And I'm using the die from Round We Go. So the die has 2 edges. You can have that little peaked edge, or you can have the scallop edge. It has built in all the score lines, plus the little tip where we're going to apply our adhesive. All right, so let's get started there. This would go through on the mini. I do have my muscle machine, the standard cut and emboss. And what I'm going to say is that I'm cheating. I'm doing doubles. And I find with the designer series paper or the pattern paper, you can double up. It will cut, it will emboss. If you're using cardstock to create the floret, you would want to do only 1 layer. And I have used cardstock on card projects as well, so either one will work. I'm doubling up. I'm going to crank it through. And so easy when you're cheating and doubling up, right? So my goal is always to minimize how many passes I have to make on the cut and emboss. So if I can gang things up or layer up, it I feel like it's a win, right? Okay, so there we go. That's rubbish. And I've still got my double layer, and I'm still going to be cheating here. I'm going to be folding and burnishing. And with the pattern paper, it's so easy. I'm just going to fold on each of these score lines. You can use your nail to kind of force it down. And I'm doing a Z fold, every other fold. So up, down, mountain, valley, however you want to call it. Each one, you can double up. Now, if you're doing cardstock, obviously you want to do one layer, and you might want to use your bone folder, but so far I have been very successful doubling up with the cutting and doubling up with the folding. So back and forth, back and forth. This round we go. The dies are very handy to have for any kind of a project. Fun birthday cards can be created with the die, and the stamp set is adorable as well. And then you have choices with the edges that you want to pick. So I'm going to share with you. All right, so look at how easy that was. There's my accordion fold. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull those apart. And let's see, I just need to flip up that little tab. That's where our adhesive is going to go. And oh, lucky for me, let's see. I was going to say I need Tombow, and that one is not going to be ready. Let me grab one that's ready. You may often hear me say that Tombow liquid glue is my favorite adhesive. It works great for this project because it's an aggressive adhesive. And this one, I just knew I was towards the end of my supply. Okay, so I'm going to take one of those tabs and I'm going to marry it up with the end of the other die cut. And what I want to make sure is that I have the edging the same on both pieces. So this is scallops and this is scallops up. And I'm just going to put that tab with the adhesive right below or right under the next layer. Pretty simple. So if you have any questions on how this works, go ahead and post them. I'm kind of watching to see if anybody has questions. So that's layered up. So we're going to make one piece here, just like so. And I just want that to be folded. Then we're actually going to bring it around and we're going to adhere the other tab to the other opposite end. So let's do that. I'm just going to, again, use, and you know what? I'm going to use, I have it here. I should be using it. My silicone mat, just because this is a project where it gets kind of sticky. And I'm going to bring it around and it's going to go under, it's like so. Whoops. I need two hands to secure it. It's so liquid glue. You're going to have to hold it and apply pressure for just a little bit while it adheres, just like that. There we go. And we want that to dry, so I'm going to leave that there. And I will say you have a choice. You can use liquid glue to adhere this to the base and to the top layer, or I've got my heat gun ready to go. You just have to be careful with this one because it is hot. I have a super duper gun. I'm trying to reach in from the side here. And what I'm going to do, whoops, bring it in. I've got cords running across my craft table. Okay, so I'm going to put a good supply of hot glue. So just be careful. It is hot, right? I'm going to put that down on the silicone mat so my surface doesn't get sticky. Now I'm going to bring this in, and here's where you have to make a choice. Are you going to want that scallop edge or the peaked edge? So on this ornament, I have the little peaks. I'm going to go with the scallop on the next one. So I just want to kind of force it down. Look how easy that was. You just force it. Who's the boss, right? And this is going to be a top layer, so you can do the top or the bottom. Whoops, just got my hand on that hot glue gun. All right, so the top one, I want to be extra careful that I've centered it. I'm going to flip it over. So that's going to be the top of the ornament or the garland piece. Then I'm going to get another circle, apply more hot glue, put that on there. And this one goes on the base. So this is the back side of my ornament. And I'm going to center that there. Again, this one's not critical. If it's not centered, it's okay. Sometimes it's helpful to put a little bit of weight on that. So I'm going to put my acrylic block. I'm going to take away my hot glue gun before I burn myself. Let me set that aside. Okay, so that's set aside because I've said it before, crafting can be dangerous. So when you bring out the hot glue gun, you want to make sure that you're keeping your hands and skin away. So now I've got my disc, I've got a layer here, and this is going to be my back side. You know what? I should have done one more thing before I adhered that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a small hole punch. So this is the handheld. What I'm going to do is create the little holes that are going to hang the thread. Oh, see, every time I make it, I forget to do these little holes before I get started. All right, I'm going to do it another way because I've got that disc in there, it's hard to get through. No worries. There's another solution, right? Crafters have all the solutions. Okay, so we've got our floret, the general basis of it. We are next going to create our little cookie star, our star cookie. Let me try and clean up here. I'm going to bring in my crumb cake. All right, and let's see what I'm going to do. I am going to be stamping and embossing that star cookie. So what I'm going to do, I hope it's around here. I found it. Here is my embossing buddy because I'm going to be stamping and applying powder. And this one's not critical. It's just a small space that we're stamping on. So there we go. And I'm going to use a Versamark pad, which is clear, goes on clear. I'm going to flip this over and ink up. Not going to see it when you stamp down. I mean, just barely. It's like a watermark. And I just know the punch has the two, when I bring in the punch and I flip it over, I have two peaks almost on a horizontal line. So that's how I'm going to stamp, because that will help inserting the cardstock into the punch. I'm pressing firmly. Then I'm going to bring in my embossing powder, and this is the Wow Basics embossing powder, and it is Wow. If you have the old version, you want to get a new supply because this is truly an improvement. It heats up and melts so nicely. All right, there we go. Now you can see the star cookie, right? We have one more step. We are going to heat this up and emboss it. So now I have my heat tool. Wow. And I need it at high speed so that it will melt the powder. This is the coolest technique, the heat embossing. It's always a thrill when you see the dull powder become shiny and just pop off the cardstock. It shouldn't take too long. I already see it melting. I already see the shine coming through. You know it's done when the whole image is shining. Okay, I will add, you don't want to overheat it. It will kind of smudge after a while. So you want to, there's a point where you're done or a point where you need to heat it a little bit more. And the heat tool is hot again, so you need to be careful. It's much hotter than a hairdryer. People think it's about the same, but it's not. Now I can see right through my punch, so I can get a little bit of a border all the way around. There we go, popping that through. And next I'm going to bring back my little rosette. And I've already got my red, real red layer there. I am going to next choose my next layer. And I like this die. It kind of looks like a paper plate with all the ridges. And I think, as I said, this time I'm going to go with silver instead of the white, because we're doing a little bit different. We went with the scallop edge instead of the peaked edge, and we're going to go with the silver foil. And I did apply, let's see, Stampin' Dimensionals to make it pop up. It gives this ornament lots of depth. We are going to add this right through. Center that right on there. I'm going to add my cookie, my Sweetest Star cookie. Right, like so. These could be easily mass produced to produce that cute garland. And I'm going to have them kind of like at an angle, falling off that little tree. Super cute with the foil. I don't know, which one do you like better, the white or the foil? One's like a paper plate, one's like the cookie sheet. Now, I said this earlier, I should have punched the little holes before I created the rosette. That's okay. I'm going to bring in a piercing mat, and I'm going to use my piercing tool. So there's another way to do it. So this is a piercing mat that is truly a piercing mat. You can see all the little holes that have been poked there. And I'm going to bring in my piercing tool, and I'm going to apply, let's see, a couple of holes, and I'm going to press and make them a good size so that I can string my twine through. So that was easy. I could use a hole punch or I could use my piercing tool. Next, I am using the red and white baker's twine. I just need about 6 or 7 inches. Let's see if I can grab this. And this one is a little bit of a challenge to get through. Those holes are so small. What I like to use is my dental flossing tool. It's like a huge needle. It's got a little eye through, and I can bring the twine right through, weave it right through. Whoops, if I can coordinate. So front to back, and then I'm going to bring it through the other little hole that we just pierced. Bring that through. So the handheld punch I had makes a slightly bigger hole. You don't need it too big. You just need it enough to get the twine through. And then we're going to bring it up. That's your little hanging cord, and make a little knot. There you go. So we've created 2 already. There you go. Super cute, right? I like these little ornaments. Now you could do it. If you don't have the Sweetest Star, you could do any theme. I did one with the reindeer fun. And this one I actually used the stamp from the Round We Go and created another layer there. But I used the same paper, and I used another of the dies from the Round We Go. It's a scallop circle there. You can barely see the scallops. And I just hand snipped the reindeer from the Reindeer Fun paper. So you don't even need to have that bundle, just the paper. Or I created another with the Snowy Wonder. Now, it's not your vision. I it's not quite perfect. My circle kind of got moved over a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I use still the same paper. This is the garden green with those nice little twinkling stars. And again, I hand snipped from the paper, so you don't have to own that bundle, just the paper, and you can create. And then on this one, I use some silver cord instead. So some I use the red and white. This one's the silver cord. This cord is not available. It's a retired item. It's a Simply Elegant trim, which I have oodles of because I use it quite often. So there are the 4 ornaments, 2 with the Sweetest star, and then some of the other motifs that we can use. And yeah, so what do you think? Is this something that you would create? It's actually very simple, very easy. The key is that you need that die, the round we go, to create the rosette, and then just some circles. Doesn't matter if you use larger circles or smaller circles to layer up. Now, if you need any of the supplies to create your Christmas projects, I would love it if you shopped with me. Here's the host code. When you go to my online store, and I will put the link right above the video, use the code. It lets me know that you want the gifts. You'll receive that fun full tutorial and a gift in the mail from me. Thank you, Sandy. I'm glad that you like the project. It's so easy to create. And yeah, you can create in your slippers, create in your PJs, just all night long. Christmas crafting, right? So this is week 8 already. If you missed my intro, you can catch the replay here on Facebook, or you can go over to YouTube. I will be sending out weeks 7 and 8. It's a big catch-up job this week because of all the events I had going on last week that got me behind. But I will catch up. You will get the week 7 and 8 and catch up. For any new subscribers, I'm attaching the recaps for all the previous weeks 1 through 8 in the next email. All right, my friends, I will see you next week. Probably not on Thursday. Let's see, I'll try to give you some notice of when I pop in with week 9, the 12 weeks of Christmas. Thank you so much for joining. I would love it if you shared the video or gave me a thumbs up. That's how I get my little community going. And again, you can catch this over on YouTube if you need to replay to see how everything was created. I do appreciate you spending time with me. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.